Hello YouTube, Xisuma here with another episode of Xisuma's World. We're going to start off right where the last episode ended. We're still in Atlantis, and before we go back and do some work on the treehouse, I want to get these walls finished. I want to put in a nice pattern and get it looking good, and I also want to come down to the floor here and start working on a pattern. And what I'm thinking is that I should have some sort of trim at the edge that goes the whole way around, and then have maybe a pattern or something for the floor. So what I'm going to do now is get a bunch of blocks together and some sandstone blocks and see what looks good. So what we have here is all the blocks that I could be using to build with, and I've put them next to sandstone to get a feel for what it's going to look like. And we'll start off with what would have been my favourite. The brown and yellow I think goes together very nicely, except the detail is so different on the blocks that I don't think I'm going to be able to use that. And as well as looking at it from the side, we should look at it from a top as well, because the floor will be sandstone and some of the trim around the border will have some bricks like this or whatever we're going to use. So from above, again, same problem, the detail's just too different really for me. The bloodstone I really don't like, I don't think goes at all with the sandstone, and the nether brick's a little bit better, especially from a top. I think it looks quite nice from above. Cobblestone, you see it too much really. I feel like it's good to try and use different blocks. I'm not really too keen on the glass pane. All of the wall, I think. The colours may be okay, like the light blue and the sandstone, but the detail on them just it isn't happening. So glass looks okay, but you've got to put something behind the glass and then it gives this dark effect, so I'm not really too keen on that. This one I'm actually really keen on. I think this looks quite good. I think it's because there's not a lot of detail on it. It's, you know, quite smooth, and again from above it looks really nice, so I'll probably be using this one. Dirt and gravel, again, they sort of, you know, too common really, and I don't think they look that great. Leaves, again, nothing really going on there. Same for iron bars. I think iron bars works well with lava and something a bit more menacing. Wooden, what do we call them, fences, fence gates, again not really feeling that. Definitely not feeling this. I don't like the bricks against the sandstone at all. Same problem here again, is that it's all too common stone, so not going to do that. This is probably the worst one. I think mossy cobblestone really doesn't look nice against it at all. And stone bricks, fairly good. Kind of like it, but again grey is a little dull. Now this is one of my favourites, snow, and I think it's because the white looks good against the yellow and there's not a lot of detail on here. So if we look at it from above as well, I think it looks really nice like that as well. The dark wood is actually, I really quite like that. I might have to use that, but I'm not sure about that one, and again from above it looks quite good as well, I think. Not too keen on wooden planks. The jack-o'-lanterns, not too keen on. This stuff, the mushroom block, whatever we want to call it, not really a fan of that against the sandstone, probably because of the way the detail is just totally different. And this would be probably my favourite along with snow. The lapis looks really good, and I think this is because the yellow and blue match and there's not a lot of detail on the lapis. And from above, actually, I think they look really good from above. They've got the same sort of texture going on. And then the light woods, not too impressed. It looks a lot better when it's darker. It's more of a contrast. And then we have the nether fence, which I'm not a fan of. So I'm going to play around with the lapis, the snow and the stone slabs and see what I can do. So I came down here to start work, and the first thing I noticed is that the top of the room gets very dark because it was night when I first came down here. So I started off with this lighting, and I really like the half stone slab with the torch on. I think that looks really good. Maybe not so much in the corner here, so I'm going to have to change that up and come up with something. So as I was looking at this, I was thinking, right, what shall I do next? And I was thinking perhaps we could have lines of snow going across, and I thought I don't just want the one by itself, so I'd probably want two. So I'd put one here and here, and I think that means I'd have to raise this up one. So I thought, okay, that lights the top of the room, but then we're not lighting the bottom of the room as much, and one thing I don't want to do is have lots of torches on the floor like this, so I started to think, what can I use? And then I remembered glowstone. Now if you've seen one of my previous episodes, I mentioned that I wanted to retexture glowstone, and I think I've got the solution. So if I go get some glowstone, then we can have lighting on the floor as well, and what I think I'm going to do is copy the texture of lapis onto the glowstone and turn it to gold, because that's a really nice sort of texture, I think, and if that was gold and emitting light, then I think it would go really well with the sandstone, and it would match the lapis texture as well. So then we could have a trim of, say, lapis and glowstone going around the bottom here, and I think that would look really good. So I'm going to edit the texture pack and then go to the nether, and when I come back I'll have some glowstone with the new texture on it. Okay, so there it is. That's my texture for glowstone, and to be honest, I'm not too happy with it. I think it's good, I think it's a good attempt, but I'm going to leave this one down to you guys. I don't mind changing this, so let me know what you think of that for glowstone. We'll also take a little trip to the nether and see what it looks like from there as well. But I'm going to go ahead and build it with this, because this is sort of close to what I want. Maybe it would be a little more smooth like the lapis is over here, and possibly more yellowy because it's kind of golden but a bit orangey as well, and I think I overdone the border on the edge there. I might soften that up, but get back to me in the comments and let me know if you like that. But I'm going to go ahead and build with it, and we can change it later. We're at the nether and we can have a look at what it looks like in its natural habitat, and there it is. It's a little, the colour's a little off. I think it's a little too sort of not quite sure what the word for it is, but let me know your thoughts, because I'm happy to change that. But it's a good start for my thirst texture. Anyway, we'll head back to the normal world and continue work on Atlantis. It's coming along really nicely. The lapis and glowstone I think looks really good together, so I'm happy with that, and I've gone for a half slab floor here. And the reason I've done that is because I said earlier I didn't want torches everywhere. So by having half slabs, no mobs can spawn on them, and this may mean that I have to use some glowstone in the animal breeding machine just to light up the areas that will create for mobs to spawn on. And I think it would give the room really good lighting. All of the walls would be lit. There'll be a few darkish areas between the walls and the animal breeding machine, but no mobs can spawn there. And the next problem that I'm having though is the snow. Now it doesn't really blend with the sandstone. It does with this top surface or texture, whatever you want to call it, but not against this side. So what I think I'm going to do is just do a whole segment like this, just with snow, and see what it looks like. And I'm thinking that because the snow goes nicely against the blue on the lapis, then if it works nicely against these half slabs, then it should look all good, but it would mean I'd have to use a ton of snow, but I'm not too bothered about that. I want something that looks good, so I'll try that and we'll see how it goes. So that's what it looks like with snow, and I didn't really like it, so I tried putting in these slabs and I didn't like that either. So I've had one more idea, which is to go back to sandstone and put the stone half slabs around the top here on this layer. Just this one, not the one above. And it would also match up with these things where our torches are. So apart from that, I don't really have any other ideas. I think sandstone's quite a stubborn texture to work with compared to the other ones we have in the game, and adding detail to these walls and, you know, bringing a pattern in isn't something really I'm too good at. But I will think about it, but for now we'll try that one more thing with the stone slabs, and if that works, that's good. If not, I'm just going to have to build the rest of the room with the wall like this. So there we go. I think that looks really good. I'm definitely going to go with that, and the reason I think it looks good is because it adds a break between the sandstone at the bottom and the top of the room, and it's also a nice clean texture, and it's a similar sort of brightness to the sandstone, So I think they match up and go quite well together, so I'm going to go with that. So now that we know how we want the room to look, we've also got to go ahead and build it. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to do a time lapse with some music from a favourite band of mine. So there we go, that was a lot of work, but we got there in the end and it looks really good. So a couple of things. First of all, I've only placed these half-stone slabs out about 3 blocks from the edge because I'm fairly sure we don't want to be building the animal breed machine right next to the wall. We want to put it on display in the room, and I think there's room for either a row of 2 or 3 animal breeding machines. And then when I place that down, I'll know where to put the half slabs. So I've left it like that just to save me from placing them down just to pick them up again. So I really liked how it turned out, and originally I was going to go a bit further back, but it turned out to be a lot more work than I expected. So when we come back here in the future, it's all ready to start work on the animal breeding machine, and depending on how big that needs to be, we can extend it back further and finish off the rest of it another time. So I've just finished reading all of the comments on the previous video, and there was tons of great feedback and ideas about the tree that we need to talk about. The other thing was the minecart track, and some of you had some ideas on how to stop the fall damage, but I think I'm going to do the safest thing and just extend the track all the way down here, and then we don't have to worry about dying at all or losing any items in the water. So while I was reading the comments, I got a really good idea of what I need to do now to finish this tree off. But there's also a couple of really unexpected ideas in there as well. And one of those was to use brown wool for the bottom of the trunk here, and that would make it look, you know, the same colour as the tree and look really good from up here. But I'm not going to be doing that because when I'm down working in my rooms, I'm going to be able to see the brown wool and it wouldn't feel right, but it would make it look better from up here. So the other idea that was suggested was to put vines on these blocks down on the trunks, and I really like that idea. In fact, there's a mushroom biome about 300 to 400 blocks in that direction, so that gives me a good reason to go there and get some vines and also pick up some lily pads as well. So another idea that kept coming up in the comment box was to bring the roots up through the glass where the glass is at the moment, and it's a really great idea because it kind of breaks this perfect circle that we have around our tree. And with the roots coming up here, it sort of got me thinking about the scale of the root compared to what we have already. And again, Lucas Nietzsche keeps telling me that this tree's too big, and I'm really sort of agreeing with him. I think I'm going to have to make it smaller again. But before we do that, I think the best thing to do is to create a sort of dirt frame that goes up into the sky. And I had originally planned to make this about 40 blocks tall, and then the last 24 blocks was going to be for the branches to extend out and for leaves to come out. And I'm starting to feel like we're going to end up with a short and stumpy tree, so we need to kind of make this a bit smaller and get the scale right. So I'm going to build a dirt frame, and then we can sort of look back and visualize and see what's going on and figure out what we're going to do. And there was another idea that was suggested as well, which was to put some glowstone above the glass so we could light up the tree a little bit, and that's something I want to try out and see what it looks like with the glowstone, because all we've seen it so far is dark, and I think when it's lit up it could give us a different idea on how big this tree needs to be. So I've built this dirt frame so we can get a sense of perspective for how big this thing's going to be, and this goes up to the height just over 100 blocks, so there's another 20 odd which I kind of pictured like the branches coming out around there, and then there's 20 blocks between the bottom of the branches and the top. Another thing comes to mind is that not all branches branch out at the same level, which was something I was originally going to do. And it takes, you know, it takes a lot of thought and thinking to really sort of get a sense of how big this is. As you can see, I've built the dirt more in towards the middle, which I think I should have brought more to the edge, because now that I'm looking at it, it is a little tricky to visualize, but it's going to be huge, and I really wanted the branches to extend out a long way over these mountainous parts. So with it being a lot thicker, I think it's going to suit having the long reaching branches. At the same time, it's going to look a bit stumpy, I think, a bit short, but then again you're going to be looking at it and just seeing the surface here, and I think if you look down below as well, it will kind of make sense, and that's why I think it's good that we got the lighting down here to really sort of bring that depth to it. So as far as it goes, I think it's actually okay. I think we've got it at the right sort of size. I might try and make it a little bit smaller, but I'm not sure where. I was thinking perhaps as it comes out of the ground and it's a little bit crooked, I could make it slightly smaller, but I think it's good for the moment. I think what we need to do is get those roots going and get it coming up through the glass, and then having another look and a rethink. So before we start work on that, I just wanted to say that I've been caving a hell of a lot, and I think that's proof. Yeah, tons and tons of diamonds and iron ore. My redstone is taking up a whole chest now, and I've got tons of lapis as well, which I like getting. I use the fortune pick on that so I can get some lapis blocks for building. And yeah, I've got tons of coal as well now, and I just wanted to say that caving, I personally enjoy it quite a lot, and this is one of the best maps I've played on for caving. So if you look in the description box, there's the seed and the location as well. So if you come down to this area where my base is, you'll find that the caves just seem to go on and on. I've played on a lot of maps where caves run out quickly, but on this map it just really does go on and on. There's constant ravines intersecting with each other. There's tons of like huge mine shafts as well, full of spider spawners, and I'm nowhere near in sight of, you know, finishing up lighting up the ones in my area. You see, we uncovered this bit when we started digging out this area here, and I've gone down there, and yeah, it's taken me a good few hours, and I'm just finding so many places to go and explore, and it's quite chaotic. You can get lost pretty quickly as well, but I think I have fairly good skills because I always seem to find my own way back. So yeah, I just thought you'd let you know, if you like caving, this is a good map for it. So I've spent a lot of time talking about what I'm going to do, and then realised that I have very little time to do it in, so I'm going to wrap the episode up there. And yeah, next episode we'll be working on the routes the whole way through. We'll get a lot of work done down here and really make some progress. And I just wanted to say, I was talking about the caving a minute ago, and if you're interested in seeing some of the caves, I was thinking we could go down there for a bit and do some caving together. I can show you how chaotic the systems are on this map. So let me know if you're interested in that, and if enough of you are interested, it would be worth going down there, I think.